Hello YouTube and hello Ninth Age community. This is Charles with Evershade Gaming, and I've got another Ninth Age battle report. This is round 4 at Forest City Fracas. This is my Ogre Khans versus some Highborn Elves. Let's get into it. Round 4, I got to play against the excellent Andre Wheaties. Drew himself, my good buddy and my clubmate from Detroit Ninth Age. And a little bit of a bummer to be drawn against your clubmate at a tournament, especially in the later rounds. He was especially bummed because he really wanted to play Canadian, and I think he was lined up against Canadian, but then a couple different people had to leave the tournament for various reasons and very valid personal reasons. So unfortunately, we got reshuffled, drawn against each other, and I'm playing my Ogre Khans against his Highborn Elf list, which is some shooting, a lot of magic, and 2 big blocks of Swordmasters. He's got his Master Chronic Tower with all the spells here, and he's got his Cosmology Master here with his 4 spells, or really 3 Cosmo and Favorite Ladies. So we were playing Secure Target, and we played Marching Columns. I picked Tableside. My opponent got to start deploying first. I put my objective next to this hill, and my opponent decided to place his in my deployment zone in this corner, which is not a bad idea. My list doesn't like to split up. A lot of my units are kind of individually weak. Even if they are ogre units, they're not particularly tough, and some of his faster scoring could easily beat down most of my scoring, besides for the tribesman block. So he put his Reavers in this water. I put my dog in the corner because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, and I knew I didn't have turn 1. And then I put a tribesman unit after I believe he put a bolt thrower in the forest, and then he put another bolt thrower down, another bolt thrower, and then I put my 3 bombardiers because I kind of wasn't quite sure what else I wanted to do. And my chariots do count, whereas his little bolt throwers, he can place them wherever, unfortunately. So he deploys the rest of his army. He's got, starting from the left to the right, Reavers in the water, some Lancers in the water, 2 units of 2 like 24 and 23 Swordmasters, both in 2 lines of like 14 or 12 or whatever. And then he's got behind the first Swordmaster unit his bunker of like 7 Grey Watchers, it looks like, with his Cosmology Master and his BSB with a Reaver Bow. He's got his 20 Spearmen. I want to say full command, maybe not even all full command, maybe just a champion and a musician. And then his Master Chronic Tower is in the middle unit of Swordmasters, 2 bolt throwers behind there. He's got another bolt thrower in the far corner, and then his 7 Lancers. So that's another shot of his deployment. This is my counter deployment. I put a cannon on both sides, mostly because I'm going to try and use them for more chariots or charging. I'm going to try and pick on some things if I can. The cannons don't have a whole lot to do. In the middle, I place my beginner tribesman to fight for the objective on the left side of the board, and I put my just unit of scraplings on the right to score. They do have a reroll with a foreman too, so I'm kind of hoping even if he tries picking on him with shooting, I can make their discipline stick check and just keep him around, and hoping that either he has to try and push something over in that corner, or he or whatever he does move over there, I can kind of shoot off. So, and then pretty much behind the building and around the building, I placed the 2 Stratopults and the 4 Bombardiers. This is a good shot of where my characters are at. So I've got the BSB and the 3 Bombardiers, the Great Khan and the Shaman in the middle unit, and then my Pyromancy Mage and the 4 Bombardiers. He scouts in the field, which was the place I wanted to go, but of course he got to go first. And then I took this rune because at the very least I could make this cav think twice about just flying right through it. And then I vanguard back out. He vanguards over here. And then we go into Highborn Elf turn 1. He's pushing. He moves his Reavers to chaff my BSB and Bombardiers, my Tribesmen, and my 2 characters. And then he Banner Relentless Companies one of his Swordmaster units up. He gets another one in that field. And just, yeah, all across the board, he moves up fairly aggressively. In the magic phase, he gets Ice and Fire on this Bombardier unit and kills 2, which was a very good roll. And then he gets Unit of Emergence off on these Swordmasters for a 5-up Aegis save. He picks on this unit of Tribesmen, just does a wound. And then other than that, his turn 1 shooting isn't all that crazy, to be honest, so that was very fortunate. I think he peels off another, does some more damage to the Bombardier unit, basically turns him into chaff for me. So I chaff up his big block of Swordmasters with the 1 remaining Bombardier, and then I charge my BSB at his Reavers, and then I just kind of back up on the left, keep my Tribesmen behind the wall, and just kind of ready to charge next turn. I actually make my Tribesmen wider to give myself more impact hits, more stomps. Those are going to be the things that are going to help me against the Swordmasters, eventually. So, other than that, I've got 2 Scratapults that are gonna fire. I've got 1 that's gonna shoot the Swordmasters in the field, and I'm actually gonna take a shot with the Scratapult on the Knights, since it's also short range, and I mean, Lethal Strike is good against Knights. So if I get a couple 6s, that kills a couple Knights, that could very well help secure the objective on the right for me. I get a Hand of Heaven off, and doesn't quite kill this Grey Watching unit, which is frustrating, but it is what it is. My opponent just spells Flaming Swords, and that's it for magic. Shooting actually goes very well over here. I think between the bows, the cannon, and the Scrappling Trappers throwing weapons, we killed 4 Knights. So that was a very good start to securing this objective. I get a Scratapult hit here. I think it's just a partial, but it still kills. Actually, it might have been a full hit, and it kills 5 Swordmasters, so that was also very good. BSB kills 3 Reavers. He takes a wound from something. He already has a wound on him. I wonder if the Reaver poked him. And but thankfully they don't flee very far. They only go about a 6 or 7, and they actually kind of chaff their cav from hitting my Bombardiers. So that was very fortunate. And he does attempt a long charge instead at the Tribesman, but he fails it. And then of course the Swordmaster's going to the 1 Bombardier chaffing. He moves up tentatively with his other Swordmaster unit. He actually kind of starts making his Spearmen look at the objective on the right, which is good, pulling some stuff away. And then he does put his Lancers behind that wall, since they really just kind of they're kind of within a charge range of the Trappers, and if they get in, they might be able to munch through. It's kind of hard to say. I do have a Foreman, but he could get killed right away, so we'll see. He gets Quicksilver and does 2 wounds on my Scratapult right here. He gets Healing Waters on these Swordmasters. And then I try to stop this, but he, with his last 2 dice, he gets Awaken the Beast off. I want to say he rolled like a 9 on the dice, and I could not catch him with the 3 dice that I had saved up. He gets a Fey Miasma on these 3 Bombardiers. And then we're going into the shooting phase, and he starts putting some wounds on the Scratapult. I think with a couple Bolt Throwers, it doesn't really go that well first, and then he starts getting a couple wounds through, and it only had 1 wound left, and he was able to finish it off with this Reaver Bow. And either I deployed poorly, which could easily have happened, or I pulled too fast, but I feel like I pulled too fast and we didn't see whether or not the Scratapult was within 6 inches. And it was like, let me try and put it back in the right spot. Let me see it. I don't know. Kind of hard to tell. Let me just take a test, see if it matters. I fail. I accept it. And then I run off the board with both my Scratapults. So that was kind of a bit of a bummer. I was actually planning on charging this Scratapult at those Knights. So that's, yeah, I was going to like that, but didn't get to do that. He gets the Fey Miasma over here, and then this is going into Ogre Khans turn 2. So in Ogre Khans turn 2, I charge my big block of Tribesmen at his unit of Swordmasters with Awaken the Beast. He kind of thought about it. You know, I had a lot of impact hits. I have 3 characters in there. I have 2 Ogres in the front, and I also charge my BSB at them too. And when the BSB charged, he decided, you know what, damn, that might just be too many impact hits. Because I did stop Favor of Miladies, so he didn't have that up. So he decided to flee, and he flees to a tree right there in the field. And I say, well, I'm redirecting in the other Swordmaster unit. They have, Healing Waters up on a 5-up, which, again, sucks. But like, I gotta do something about these Swordmaster blocks, and me charging is the best way to deal with them. He decides to flee from that too. The BSB redirects, needing like boxcars into the bunker. The tribesmen needed a 10. I charge my cannon at these reavers, who flee to be right about there. And the tribesmen making the Swordmasters in the field, which was huge. I decided to try to look at the Grey Watcher bunker, because I had my Pyromancy Wizard right there, and I thought, I should just blast these guys. In hindsight, I probably should have just stayed the course and looked at the Swordmasters, since they were going to rally, not be able to charge me. But I don't know, I kind of felt optimistic maybe about getting to the other side of the field. I don't know what I was thinking. I probably should have just faced the Swordmasters. But yeah, that's what I decided to do. It ended up being an okay decision because the dice roll really hot, and doing a Fireball, a Pyroclastic Flow, and Hand of Heaven, I just get rid of the 2 characters in the bunker. So that was really good and very lucky, and I can't complain about that. Yeah, other than that, the BSB had failed charge behind the hill. The Bombardiers moved up, I think, just to put some pod shots into those Grey Watchers that are picking on them. And yeah, the Chariot failed charged. I want to say it looks like the tribesman charged his knights, who fled in the middle. And then going into his turn, this is Highborn Elves turn 3, he's able to chat me with his reavers, because I did not charge them again, unfortunately. And I kind of like totally missed this, so this was a good play by him. And then he gets the Oaken Throne up. He throws a quick Silver Lash, does another couple wounds, but thankfully my BSB survives the rest of the shooting. He gets Healing Waters off on these guys to keep them alive. And then going into my turn 3, I decide to just charge my Great Khan at the Reavers. I'm going to see if he can overrun and then maybe flee past some units. I wasn't exactly sure what was going to happen, but I felt like I could risk him. And then I just move my Pyromancy Wizard out to blast off the Grey Watchers and try and panic off finish off the rest of the Lancers. I don't kill the Lancers with magic, and this is what the rest of the movement looks like. I'm able to move my 1 Bombardier unit over, get my Thaumaturgy Wizard in there, and then I didn't even slide over the tribesmen at all, but it ended up being okay. And then my BSB joins the unit tribesman that just marches up 12. So the cannon hits, wounds the Lancer, kills him, and the other guy panics. So that was awesome. And I think he dies hitting my Pyromancy Mage, which is great. And then this is going into Highborn Elf turn 4. The Great Khan easily killed the 2 Reavers, of course. He overran, but I want to say he overran like 3 inches. And then I get charged by the Swordmasters, and I want to say again he went like 2 or 3 inches. So it was unfortunately right in the middle. I was kind of hoping to see if I could get him to like pop out on the other side of those Lancers, so that like all he could, he could maybe pick on me with his shooting, but that would be it. But unfortunately, he's just kind of in the middle of the land right there in a bad spot, so he's gonna get killed. The tribesmen, he charges them first. Thankfully roll like a 10 or something on their fleet, and they make it through the Bombardiers and the Shaman. Everyone passes their panics, so that was very good. Consider it was just like 7s and 8s. So yeah, he comes over here, he pushes those Lancers, he catches, the Great Khan's dead. And then we're really pressed for time, so we were like moving way too fast, unfortunately. And he just kind of moves up so that he can contest the objective on the left and force me to contest him. But again, we were knowing that we were only going to get through 4 turns, unfortunately. So yeah, I think his shooting doesn't do a whole lot. My last turn, I just basically move my characters back into the tribesmen. I move up my 2 scoring units I have over here to contest the objective on the left. I attempt to charge the knights with my cannon, just see if I can get more points, but I couldn't. I failed charged. And then, I'm winning the objective on the right there with my scraplings. My Pyromancy Mage blows off a thrower, and this is where we end, unfortunately, turn 4. So playing is never good, but unfortunately, it did happen. And in the end, when we counted up all the points, and I winning the objective. I got a 16-4 win, which was appreciated. You know, I hadn't won in a game. Already 2 losses down, so I couldn't complain about that. But I wish I didn't. I wish I hadn't slow played Drew so bad. But that's the end of the game. Thanks everybody for watching, and look forward to some more 9th Age battle reports coming out soon. See ya.